historic Rex Theater. My name is Chris Kubiak. I will be the moderator for this evening, and you're here to see the Care Bears panel, correct? Yeah. I'm kidding. Welcome to the Tron panel. First to the stage will be Cindy Morgan. Next will be Bruce Boxleitner. And David Warren.
Getting on a bit. Oh, good job. That is getting on it. Oh!
We're also going to be joined by Dan Shore in a few minutes.
Dan Shore is visiting a voice.
Enjoy your legroom while you can, Bruce.
If at any time anybody wants to ask a question, please do come up to the microphone, or we can have somebody up top. If you want to ask a question, we can have somebody run up there and bring you the microphone. Sorry, Dan.
How did it come out? Everything good?
Oh my God.
It was a power drink and a power piss.
How are y'all doing today?
Sorry? We're great, thank you. We're all fine.
So just jumping straight into it, what was the process like of getting into Tron, or being cast into Tron?
I was dating a guy named Larry Anderson who took me to lunch. He was in this cartoon. A year and a half later, I was in it. He was out. Tron was actually one character. Tron and Flynn were one. And they split it afterwards. And Bruce got cast, and so did Jeff Bridges. Did you know that?
I never knew that.
I knew it. I was at lunch with a friend, and it was originally going to be animated, fully animated.
Wow.
And he was a friend I knew from the comedy class, and he's a sweetheart. Years later, I said, "Is that Tron?" He goes, "Yes," and I never took an actress to lunch again.
What about for you, Mr. Warner? What was it like getting cast into Tron?
Well, Peter O'Toole didn't want to do it. So it came to me, and that's the story of how I joined the team. Really.
That's the truth. Yeah. Peter O'Toole wanted to do it very badly, did he?
No, he didn't want to do it.
Oh, the rumor was.
You never listen, do you? You never listen.
No, Sergeant Tron never listened.
He didn't want to do it.
Okay.
Clear.
Yes, it is. Thank you, David. Dan, one days we haven't had a nap. Okay.
Dan, what about you?
No, here's the story.
Oh my God.
I was in a play. I was acting in a play, produced a play, The Sport of My Mad Mother by Angelico in Los Angeles with Peter Jurasik. Some producers came to the play for it was a punk rock musical, and oddly enough, some producers came to that thing and said we were cast the next week when we were playing we were playing Fack and Cone in a play, and the next thing we became Ram and Crom within a week. That's how it happened.
When all four of you received your scripts, was there language you had to brush up on, being that a lot of it had to do with computer?
It didn't make a damn bit of sense.
Right.
I didn't understand a word, and I still don't.
I was doing a Western for NBC, and I was sitting out on a horse with this script. And I didn't want to throw it and pollute the desert. I'm going, what is this? I won't say the word. And I tucked it back in the saddlebag, and that's the last time I looked at it until I got to LA. And that was it. And I did not know that Tron and Flynn were one character.
At one point, yeah.
So I didn't want to do it. I turned it down. Didn't understand it. Didn't make any sense. And then my agent said, "Are you crazy? This is a feature film. and he said, Jeff Bridges is doing it. Now, I worked with his father, Lloyd, prior to that, years ago, or years prior to that, on How the West Was Once. So I loved Lloyd, and he would always say to me, you remind me so much of my son, Jeff. That was cool. And Lloyd was a much respected actor, wonderful to work with. And I thought, Jeff, and you take a look at your people that inspire you, and Jeff had already had quite a film catalog there going for himself. And I admired him a great deal, and I thought, yes. I had no idea what this thing was about until I met Steven Lisberger. And he showed me some cells. They had some cells or something they called it. But computer language, no. I knew, yup, nope. No, I'm just kidding. I was fascinated by it.
The computer generated, like the actual world of the mainframe and whatnot. What was that like getting into those suits and, having to act, like that?
I had to lose 5 pounds right away. Because the suits are so tight, and it was a thin material.
Yeah.
Now, there was nothing there that, it wasn't Spanx, let me just say that.
Spanx is thicker, right? Spanx is a thicker...
Well, it's like a girdle.
Oh. Yeah, Spanx is thicker.
They also have Manx, just in case.
It won't help.
It was a very, very thin material, so like everything, so you really had to be thin. And it was just like leotards, you guys, the ladies have worn that, tights.
These men have too.
They won't admit it.
In the front row, right?
It was hell getting into things. I called for help a lot. Help me get in these things. Once you got the legs on, then you had to be zipped up from the back. And funny story real quick, though, is that when we all went into the, and I think you too, Cindy, when we went into the commissary right across the way from the soundstage.
Yep.
It was a hot July. Wasn't it summer, guys, when we did this movie?
Yeah.
It's always sunny and hot, and it was very warm, and you'd go in to get some lunch or something like that. Well, eventually a memo came down.
We weren't allowed to go to the commissary.
We weren't allowed to go to the commissary because we were basically naked. We all got used to it, but some of the secretaries and folks on their lunch hour got a little vapors going. So we had to wear bath towels if we wanted to go to the commissary. They were very sheer.
And they also told us to stop eating after a period of time because we started, on a movie set you get really good food.
Oh.
They cater you well, and especially at Disney.
Yes.
So we started to gain, he started to gain weight. And they would tell us, they'd tell him to stop eating.
Yeah, I got all the memos. Is that what you're saying? I believe we had sushi for lunch. We would have things like that.
Yeah.
And, but we did. We had to be very conscious about eating and drinking.
Popping out of our suits, yeah.
But it didn't stop us from drinking. Party animals.
I had the worst costume. The most uncomfortable costume with that headpiece on me all the time, and I felt an absolute idiot. And that's all. You carry on.
You look marvelous.
Thank you.
I loved splitting your head down the middle.
I haven't seen the movie yet, so don't spoil.
It was 40 years, dude. It's time to catch up. Okay.
I need subtitles.
But what was it like performing in like a world that just didn't exist?
It was tough. It was tough. I mean, you had to find there was nothing there. A black warehouse. You guys have been to Costco? Picture it empty, painted black. Literally, that size, nothing there, and you'd walk in, and there would be a mark on the floor, but you can't look at it, because the camera would see you look at it. So we had to, Bruce and I did a lot of running. So we'd have to hit the mark and do running steps back. So you can't run it and say something that doesn't make any sense, but you have to mean it. Because there's one line I said I choked at. I couldn't say this line. Oh, Tron, I knew there wasn't a circuit. I hated that line. I told the director, I said, this is stupid. I'm not going to say it. And he, well, you don't tell the director that. He's also the writer.
Yes, I was going to say.
And right now, that's the line I have to sign on everything.
I have to say, I fight for the users. One One more time. Anybody asks me tomorrow. Or Cindy, I'm sure we'll be so delighted.
The only time I didn't have to act was with David. I think I told you today down in the green room. When I worked with David, and he told me that I was going to die, no acting was required. I believe him. He's quite formidable, and he stares you down. So that was a pleasure. Thank you for killing me.
You know, and also Cindy, that the platforms you and I had we had to crawl up, we had to slide down one.
Less physical up and down.
All these platforms, it was all, like everyone calls it green screen today. We didn't have a green screen. It was black, sort of velveteen material, and it absorbed the light. I mean, there was no shadows. So that was what the computer was going to animate. Okay. We did have storyboards, though, somewhat.
Sometimes.
And we got an idea of generally, okay, we're crawling up a large coil or cable. Remember, it was kind of like thing we're supposed to be crawling up, and you and I and Jeff were running in the water
into the water. And this water was poured into a black
garden
plastic
hose.
bag, and it was disgusting, and we were drinking it.
And he was getting high off.
I was. But to me, it was like acting in a cartoon. I was young enough to have been still reading comic. Okay, yeah.
You liked
I was 41, but I was reading comic. No, and it was like acting out a comic book because it was storyboarded. And the way I described the acting experience was sort of like being a kid, and you say, make believe that there's that, and you just make believe it. You have no choice. None of the acting processes that we've actually learned in the universe was just play and make believe.
And now I think actors today are much more used to working in special effects.
Well, they have sensors on their face.
Yes.
They know where they're going.
Yes.
You know, we were just.
We were at the very pioneering edge of that, and that was what was kind of exciting about Tron too. It was a feeling of we're doing something unusual here. This isn't a normal thing that we were all used to, which kind of puts you in a different mindset.
But it was generally fun.
Yeah.
You know, lots of video games on the set.
Oh my God, we had video games everywhere.
Jeff was playing video games. I was listening to music, and you were roping folding chairs.
I was roping folding chairs with Jeff Stand-in, Lloyd Catlett, who was this Texas cowboy, and we had lariats, and we were roping the chairs. And Jeff was off with his headphones listening to Talking Heads.
Yeah.
Yeah, you did too. Yeah, you two were always doing it. And then he was off playing video games.
I played video games too, but Jeff was really actually good at it.
He was Flynn. I mean, what can I tell you? I mean, he was the pinball wizard there. What else? Well, go on. I'm sorry.
Pretty much, for Bruce, we've had several scenes where you use your disc and launch it at Sark or launch it at other minions and take them out. What did you have as far as a prop with you? And then when they had the shots where this frisbee was effectively making impossible banks, and what did they tell you would see, or how did you know to react to that?
I didn't know about I know what you're saying, the incredible gyrations they would go. That was the animated part. If they were coming straight at me, it was a guy named, ironically, who just said the word Sam Schatz. And he was a professional frisbee competition guy. And he could make that thing dance in the air. And Steven Lisberger had a slightly sadistic streak in him. And he said, throw it at his head. I mean, I was fighting off the discs. I really was. And I learned to throw them back. He would come out to my house, and we'd be out in a horse corral throwing frisbees. The neighbors thought we were absolutely out of our minds. But I have one proud shot where I caught it over my head, and I look up at Sark. He's up there, and I had a real F you expression because that was Sam up on a ladder, big, tall, 12-footer or more. Just throwing them at him. And I had to dodge them, deflect them, and what have you. And a couple of times I didn't get to go to lunch with everybody else because Stephen was punishing me and having me work out. He just wanted to see my progress. Lisberger. I wanted to throw one right at his head.
You obviously
I like the
you
guy, don't get
obviously
me
haven't
wrong.
worked with James Cameron.
No. But he wanted to be James Cameron. So, anyway, no, I like him a lot. He's a great guy.
Greetings, Bergrand.
Greetings.
I just want to know, Mr. Shore, if anybody has brought you any popcorn?
Oh no! Fuck you!
It's like the playground, right?
Nobody brought any popcorn.
You'll get plenty tomorrow then.
Okay, thank you.
Careful what you ask for.
Hi, Simon.
Hi, my name is Finn, and I just had a question. I have two questions. One, did you guys ever get to perform your own tricks with stunts?
Never, not me.
I mean, other than
Sandy,
the
you remember when we went down the...
a lot of the run
slide?
stuff and sliding stuff we would do, but
Yeah.
a lot of that was animated. So we did very little physical work like that.
Other than running. And frisbee, yes. I did a lot of that stuff. Yeah.
Practicing frisbee and...
Yeah, you got to do that. I did get slightly injured, and didn't make a big deal out of it when Yori and Tron slide down the recognizers or searching them out, and we jumped through this window and went down, slid down this rail. And I'm supposed to, Cindy and I get up, and I'm supposed to grab her, and I say, "Are you okay?"
And you were angry because nobody asked if you were okay.
Nobody would attack me, but my shoulder, I thought, had broken off. I was in screaming pain, and I had to have a lot of, what is it?
Alcohol?
Immediately, yes, but no, I had acupuncture for quite some time after that to try to bring that down. But it happens.
Yeah, I have one more question. Did you like Tron Legacy, the movie? What did you think about it?
Yeah, I did, yeah. Did you?
Yeah, I did.
I thought it was the best, other than Wendy Carlos, who inspired Daft Punk. I thought it was one of the best soundtracks of that year for a film. That's for sure. Should have gotten the top honors.
Yeah. I like the first Tron better than the second.
I love you, son.
Understanding or experience with what the movie was going to be about, what was your first impressions when you saw the completed film?
Terrifying. It was like, wow, sensory overload. Yeah. Because we had no idea it was going to be that vivid.
Right.
While we were doing it, they would show us storyboards. They would show us artwork. When we came into the solar set, I remember...
Solar set?
Yeah, I said, what the hell?
That's
Show
a
us,
solar set.
We were up on a riser like this with a banquet table with black felt on it. And that was it. And Steven said, I'm flying it. And I went, there's nothing here, And he said, just do anything. And in my mind, I saw a soundboard, because I used to be sound engineer, so I saw something that would actually move the story. And we were all looking in different ways off the... And I said, see that grip over? Get a roll of tape and you drag it across the table. Look at that. There was nothing there. So when we saw it put together, it was, quite a bit.
Yeah, that stuff was really old school. I mean, we did it the basic way. We're all supposed to look the same direction, so it's like they've got
piece of tape
somebody
on the
a piece
wall.
of tape on the wall.
Yeah.
That's where we're heading, or like you said, it's traveling, so let's all follow that.
Well, and after 40 years, it's stood the test of time. It's still a fantastic movie to watch.
Nothing looks quite like it in a sense, has it? I mean, it's still, he really created this world that no one's been able to, just not able to look at. In a vivid color, too.
Thank you.
No, thank you. I wouldn't even argue with the shorter people. Who wants to ask a question? Boys?
Go ahead, SWAT, you're up.
Okay.
Okay. Bring it on, son.
What he was going to say was, did you fight bad guys in real life?
I think we all do, honey.
We all do.
I think everybody here does, yeah.
They're mainly inside my head, but that's... That's on your Dan Shore.
That was very good.
Hi, it's me again. I was wondering, you probably know, but in case you don't, that a lot of technology and like art, science, things that are based on that original Tron movie. As an example, will take a second. When I saw the original Tron movie, I was very scared because I had a 1982 computer, and I didn't realize my computer can be what we now call hacked. And I complained to a friend of mine named Fred Cohen who was going to USC, and based on me complaining to him about that, he actually created what he now calls it, in fact, he coined the term computer virus based on me complaining. And so if you wonder, gee, I'd really like to beat up on the guy that created a computer virus because I have to do a virus update. Hi.
You're the one.
Yeah, that's it. But Fred did 99.9% of the work, and I just put the bugs in that are based on that Tron movie. But again, it didn't occur to me that my computer could, we now know that can easily happen, and the DNC server found out the hard way that it can be done. But so there are a lot of innovative things that were in the movie. I didn't realize what it meant back at the time, but I'm realizing it now.
Would you mind repeating the question?
What was the question, David?
I don't know. That's why I want him to repeat it.
Like
Anyway.
the desk that Ed Dillinger Sr. has, it's a paperless desk, they have that now. The Tron dresses that was cut from the deleted scene, they have that now. A lot of things that are based on Tron, they're either directly or indirectly inspired by the original movie. So I kind of track it as like a side effort that the technology is really self-amazing, but a lot of it can predict either real life or art or literature, that now is based on the movie one way or another. So,
Thank you. I think it was more information
Yeah.
than a question. Thank you.
But David, remember that amazing desk you had as Dillinger? Remember?
Oh, it Dillinger.
And you,
the other part I played.
They have that.
The 3 parts I played.
Yes.
Yes, the desk.
3 parts. Anyway, one more than I thought. And sorry.
No, MCP, I think.
You were the MCP.
The voice.
Remember where you could touch the desktop, and all these functions could happen. That's where the MCP talked to you.
Yes, I do remember it.
Ed
Just.
Dillinger.
Yes.
That was you.
So was that a question?
No, it was information being shared with the audience. Thank you.
Brian's taking a picture. Do you have a question?
Yes, sir.
If any of y'all had to wanted to do Tron again, would you do it? I know you already have, but the other three have.
I would never.
Oh, yeah.
No.
What money are we talking?
I had someone else said if there's money involved, you can do anything.
I've also it's been said of me that I would show up at the opening of an envelope.
Oh.
So,
My other question.
It would depend, wouldn't it? I think all of us would do.
And then I have a question for just Dan. Yeah. What about Bill and Ted? Coming back.
What about it?
If there's a 3 coming out, would you do it?
Oh yeah, in a heartbeat. But they didn't ask me.
They didn't ask you. Okay, we'll have to get on Facebook and everybody start pitching Dan for us.
Yes, re-res Billy the Kid.
Bring it back to life. Re-res Billy the Kid.
Re-res Ram.
Re-res all of y'all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Time Bandits, where you're the ultimate evil, you've done a couple of really iconic villains. And my question is, do you have any amusing stories about being recognized on the street for those roles?
You mean recognized after I look like in Tron, and recognized after I look like in Time Bandits?
That's correct.
Down the street. Good choice. Something never. Thank you for the question.
He's a one-man show, isn't he?
No, I only pop in occasionally.
I know.
What effect do you think Tron had on other films of the era?
Well, it started it going. It wasn't nominated for an Academy Award for special effects because they said we were cheating for using computers. And now it's state of the art. So I think it had a big effect.
Huge.
Yeah. Special effects are now...
Was there The Last Starfighter? Did that have?
Yeah.
That came out around the same time. I've always heard about, I don't think I've ever seen that movie, but I always heard it in relationship with the same time that Tron came out. Did it have some computer generation? Okay. I will, I'll find it. Thank you. That's a great question, sir. Star Trek, okay. You gotta beam it down, Scott.
I have two questions.
Yes.
Have y'all seen the second Tron yet?
Yeah?
Well, do you like the first Tron or the second Tron better?
Yeah, be little.
Who, are you asking me or just everybody here?
I'm asking everybody.
Oh, good. Please, Dan, pick it up from here.
It's the first. It's always the first.
You too? What about you? What do you say?
I kind of like the second one better.
Get out. Get out.
Not of mouth of babe. He tells the truth. And I appreciate it.
It's his truth. It's good.
Yeah.
I mean, but Dan, you not so much.
In the second.
We thought of you often, though. Thank you, son.
Hi. So a lot of you guys had roles where you had two roles. So you had the role of the person and then the program that was based on them. But David, you actually had a few parts where you were talking to yourself. So what's that like, to do a scene where you have to talk to yourself?
Just like right now.
Talking to myself, yeah. What was it like talking? Are you talking about as Dillinger and MCP, or
as Sark and MCP when you're talking to yourself?
what was it like to? Well, I don't tell you. Rather like my reply. Really. I hadn't thought of that. No, you record your voice and you do it. I mean, really, it's simple. It's very, but I can't really explain to it here. I mean. What was it like talking to myself? Well, you've just seen me do it. I can't really answer it any better than that.
Thank you.
I don't know how to follow that, but Dan, I have two quick questions. Dan, what were you guys drinking out of your Frisbee? When the water that brought the...
It was dirty, filthy water, but it was also 1980s.
Yeah, I think it's now legal.
It's legal in a lot of states now.
That's what he was drinking. I was drinking water that had little specks of dirt and stuff floating in it. Trying to think that it was something, rapturous, but it wasn't. Yeah.
And quickly...
You were tripping.
Mr. Warner, I was wondering...
Why am I Mr. Warner?
I was wondering about the voice you did for the Master Control program. Was that mostly digitally enhanced to make it sound different from your regular voice, or did you work in
I just
separate?
Yes, I did it normally, and they do what they do with their little whatever they do. As you can tell, I'm really technically. And that somebody is.
My question's for Bruce. At the end of Tron Legacy, is it your opinion that Tron is still alive when he falls into the water?
Yes.
No
hesitation.
I was just kind of curious what it was like working on Tron Uprising, reprising the role as Tron, since you really actually didn't have much of a role in Legacy.
Some of us didn't get any role.
It seems to me Disney has a somewhat of a love-hate relationship with Tron. I think, I don't know. 28 years, almost 30 years later, they're going to finally do another Tron movie. Someone calls and said, would you be in it? I said, yes, I don't care. Yeah. I never expected more than, Jeff Bridges is a film star. That's who they hire for movies, film stars, you know. I'm a TV guy. So that's the way it was. I don't mind. I was very happy to be whatever little part I was in it. I did my part. That was great, you know. I thought it was a good film. I thought it was a really honest, it was made by Tron fans. I mean, Joe Kosinski, he had, his office was Tron memorabilia, every square inch he had, and that, the game, the ballet game, you know, that was the hidden doorway to Flynn's laboratory. That was his. It was in mint condition. So there was a great deal of love for this original movie, but of course you can't do the original movie. So they had to find some way to go. So it was kind of a sequel. 28 years later, where are these people? What's going on with this world? Especially about Sam Flynn and his father. And so I was very happy to be part of it.
Uprising was excellent. Everyone should see it as well.
That was a good, wonderful stylization, the animation of it, and that was Elijah Wood, who was the lead in that. And I don't know, I've never been told the real story as to why we didn't continue on. But, like I said, they love Tron and then they don't. I don't know.
I think these guys do.
Yeah.
Thanks.
Hi, I was just wondering, when you're playing programs versus users, did you take any different emotional stance on how you approach playing the program instead? Because I realized in some of the scenes you, especially Bruce, the way you handled things, whether intentional or not, it felt like a little stark contrast in how you changed your tones and how your emotions changed, and if any of you approached it differently as to playing just a normal user or human.
Well, I think as Tron and Yori, tell me if I'm wrong, we revered the users, almost
Right.
godlike.
It's almost like a childlike approach, a more innocent, almost a two-dimensional version of the person.
Yeah, I think so. We were a program.
Yeah.
So how do you...
I picture somebody on a desert island who had no interaction with humans, no interaction. But the program had some of your thoughts, some of your memory. So when I saw Flynn, I recognized him, but didn't know why.
Yeah.
And you were jealous, but you didn't know why.
I didn't know why. I didn't know why I had these emotions. You know.
Yeah, but
I felt like it was much more of a childlike version, an innocent childlike version.
Yeah, it's
our user selves. You know.
Our idealized versions as well. I know that Mike Ram, for example, was incredibly athletic, where his programmer certainly wasn't. So he created somebody who could do all these incredible fighting. I weighed like 112 pounds, and I was kicking ass, which meant that my user had always dreamed of doing that.
We were always stealing Alan's popcorn.
Yeah, was the user. And so the sense of identity and emotional innocence, that's perfect. That's perfect.
Did that answer?
Yeah.
Disney ride with the light cycles. Anybody interested in going on it?
Oh, absolutely, yes.
Can't wait for it.
But it's only going to be in Orlando, is that right?
Well, it's already in Shanghai.
Oh, I'm not going there now.
That was quick.
On the video game, I can never get past the light cycle, so I'm really looking forward to the ride. And I'm just going to go too.
I am. And you never know, guys, everybody. It may kickstart interest in that studio again. If a lot of people go, I mean, what, 1 billion Chinese have written it? It was in Time magazine, I thought. They said it was a phenomenal success over there. Believe me, people in there going, Yeah, strangely enough, could you get them excited about that franchise again? You never know. It's, thank you.
Hi, folks. Question. With the current regime at Disney now in the massive state of flux, do you think there's always a chance that they'll actually bring everybody back and do another sequel actually right for a change? I mean, don't get me wrong, I love Legacy, but I would like to see everybody back.
Like Wrath of Khan saved the Star Trek franchise. Yeah.
They might, but I mean, I think they still haven't finished that story.
Do you think that Bob
they would
Iger
pick
had
up
a
with
problem? Do you think that Bob Iger had an issue with Tron, and that's why they never proceeded beyond it?
I would only speculate. I don't know. Obviously, when new people come in, generally everything that the old regime had gets tossed.
And it's a lot of times it's not one guy.
Yeah,
It's
right.
a committee, you know, and this department versus this department, and they make decisions, and at the end of the day, you don't know who made the decision, but there's a lot of people involved.
I think they're going to stick with Marvel, Star Wars to the umpteenth sequel.
Just would love to see it though. I'd love to actually
Yeah, but I think they had left a legacy without an ending and started with a new beginning, and that's where it was going to go about 3-4 years ago. They were all ready to go.
Yeah.
And the success of their, was it Maleficent? I think in one of those, they blamed it on poor George, what's his name? You know, the Tomorrowland movie? What was that? No, that was the official word. It came out because that bombed. The next Tron was canceled. What did that have? Apples and oranges. What did that have to do with it? And but you've left Quora and Sam Flynn out there driving a motorcycle, and he says he's going to take the company back. I would think if that's where they're going, that's where the next script was
I
going.
just hope we see it soon, though, that's all.
Yeah, good luck. There'll be that Tron wheelchair. Sucker will move, too. You mean those wheelchairs?
Well, I'm talking about the Trons that I was not in after. And I wondered if I'd done something wrong to Disney. But if you let me finish. You're talking about wheelchairs, weren't you, you see?
But I was making a terrible joke.
Let me finish. So Disney, I thought, well, I'm finished with Disney, but I was invited to be in a Disney film in a wheelchair, and that was Mary Poppins Return.
He's wonderful. David, I think that was very
It's only the
flattering.
wheelchair that got me thinking.
Yes. And now you see
the
it.
wheelchair, you see.
So you could be one in a bright, electronic, vibrant blue, and you know, just going like a bat out of hell. Come on. You'd like to do that.
Hair blowing. What, in a Tron movie?
Yes.
I'd love to be in a
Hello. Thank you, each one of you, for coming and sharing your time with us here at Pensacon. I'm sure everybody appreciates that.
Hell yeah.
I wanted to touch on the video game. Before I saw the movie, the Tron video games were, when you go into the arcade, they were side by side, wall to wall. I've never seen a video game that had so many that fill up arcades in my life. And then playing that game, I was like, wow, this is so cool, and I went and saw the movie. If y'all have any knowledge of the marketing and what went into that and behind that, I'd like to hear you share a little bit of that.
They don't touch base with us about marketing, really.
No.
We hear it after the fact. But that probably was a Bally's game, wasn't it?
It was Bally,
Yeah.
and then there were the discs of Tron. You literally had to get down inside of it. I never saw that game before. The one thing on Legacy, when they recreated the interior of Flynn's arcade, it was amazing. I want to tell you, Cindy, I walked in there, and I thought, oh my God, we're back in Culver City. It was to the T. And they had scoured the world for those arcade games, and most of them were in absolute mint condition. And I kept looking up at where Flynn's office was, and I really expected the blinds to go up and Jeff looking out. Young Jeff. But they really went through a lot of trouble with that detail. But marketing, no. How many games were there, do we know? Really, of arcade type games? Because we have the video game now.
Video games like video game assist.
Yeah, television. I did the voice work on most of them. Well, on the Kingdom Hearts. It's the first time my youngest son thought I was ever cool.
Yeah, it was a game of Kingdom Hearts.
And I was with Daffy Duck.
Thank you.
Thank you.
The work you guys did 38 years ago has created so many memories for us that we're celebrating it today. And I just want to give you guys a round of applause.
Unfortunately out of time. However, if you haven't gotten your fulfill of Tron, we are showing the movie right after this. So if you would like to stay for a special screening of Tron, please do. I would like to thank again our guests, David Warner, Bruce Boxleitner, Dan Shore, and Cindy Morgan, once again for coming down.